Hello everybody, it's me, Ghost Bunny, and I want to say welcome to Volume 2 of KinnPorsche. Yes, we are currently right now on Volume 2 of KinnPorsche. I'm super excited about it. I have seen a lot of you guys comment on the first volume, that you guys have been enjoying it, you guys have been liking it. I've seen some people comment on my voice and saying that you guys really like it. Thank you, I appreciate it. I am a little bit insecure about my voice and English because it's because I'm not a native English speaker. I sometimes feel like my English isn't as good as it could be. I am still practicing, pero thankfully it has not stopped you from enjoying it. But I will try to pronounce words a little bit better and try to improve my pronunciation. Pero yeah, I appreciate the nice comments and the supportive words you guys have all been saying. So yeah, pero yep, we are finally on Volume 2. We are finally here, and I'm glad you guys are continuing to join me along the journey of reading it. I have seen some people say that they have been enjoying reading with me and following along with me, especially people who have not the money to be able to buy the book themselves, and those who choose not to support the author. I understand both economically, it's they cost, and with everything going on, and also those who do not necessarily support the author. I understand that aspect of it. Whichever reason you have for following me and for listening along with me, those are perfectly fine, perfectly valid. I'm happy I can be a safe space, or just a space where you guys can enjoy the book. I know my reading is not perfect, and my pronunciations are not always the best, but hopefully you guys can continue to enjoy my readings. Volume 1 and Volume 2. Now Volume 2. So yeah, I do have a playlist for KinnPorsche. They're all gonna be in the same playlist. I might change the little cover art so we could have a new one for Volume 2, a new volume, a new season, you can say hee. Pero other than that, let's begin. Oh yeah, let me get my disclaimers, because let's keep everything nice, clear, and concise. And that is that, one, I have no affiliations with with Seven Seas, with Beyond Cloud, or with the author. I have no affiliations. This is not an official audiobook. This is just us gal pals having a good gay old time, and just that. This is not an official audiobook. This is not official anything. You can buy the official book on Amazon, of the Seven Seas webpage, wherever you buy books. You can also buy the digital version. I have the digital version right now. As much as I would like to get the physical version, this time around I couldn't, school and everything, so yeah, I couldn't necessarily splurge on getting the physical book, but I do have the digital version. Don't worry, you guys will still get images, because I will be screenshotting them. I did do a little skim and see that they do have images like the books, so I will be screenshotting those images for you guys, so you guys can see what I'm seeing, basically. Still enjoy it like it's intended to be enjoyed, images and all, because these artists, they get good work. Pero with that being said, let's begin. And like I said, the warning about the sexually explicit material, because we get, like I said, thrusted right into a sexual scene. I will say, when I say sexual scene, I do mean slightly non-con sexual scene. That's why, one, sexual scene by nature is already should have a warning, but the grayness of the consent, the dubiousness of the consent is where I do want to put emphasis on the warning. So if that bothers you, I just want to warn you on that. So yeah, I might kind of try to skip ahead a little bit, but yeah, let's begin. Chapter 16, Scars. We're starting on our beautiful Porsche's POV, our Porsche boys POV. One, two, three. The sound of moaning continued to echo through the hotel room. Panting hard from exertion, I felt like my body might burst open. Kinn kept relentlessly thrusting his hoo-ha into me. I lost count of how many times I was unable to hold any thoughts in my head. My brain short-circuited, Jesus. My brain short-circuited. Jeez, can I say that word? Short-circuiting. You know the word. Do I have to say? You know it. Look, I was like that one Sabrina Carpenter song, basically. My gut told me I should resist Kin. I wouldn't be able to stand the pain or embarrassment tomorrow. Still, my body betrayed me by responding eagerly to everything Kin did. Oh, fuck, Kin swore. Why do you keep clenching so hard around me? I shook my head frantically, incredibly embarrassed by Kin's filthy mouth. I was on my back as Kin hooked his arms under my knees to lift my ass off the mattress, slowly pushing his back into me. It didn't hurt as much as the first time, but I was sore and numb. Kin, it hurts. How many times had I told Kin that it was painful? It didn't seem to do anything to stop him. Kin kept going until he was buried inside me completely. Then he bent down to kiss me passionately. I kissed him back, my tongue feverishly swirling and probing against his. Kin's warm breath and his unique scent seemed to help me relax and forget about the pain for a moment. We kept groaning and grunting until Kin started to move his hips slowly, pulling off me and pushing back inside. I hated to admit it, but he was being done by him. It was pretty good. Okay, look, I can't deny it. Kin wasn't pretty good at the whole schmecks, if you catch my drift. You know what I mean? Sex with Kin was unlike anything I had ever experienced, even though it was agonizing. Jesus. Bit by bit, I started to come to my senses, and I became truly aware of what we were doing. I felt disgusted with myself for having sex with a guy, especially when I was the one allowing Kin to do disgraceful things to me again and again. I should have suppressed my urges and prevented things from escalating to this point. Easy, I'm sore. My voice strutted as I told Kin to slow down, but he didn't hold back. His rough thrust made my body sway violently with each motion, my back rubbing against the sheets. His lips barely left my body, biting and nibbling on my skin. Kin seemed able to, tirelessly schmecks all night. Damn, does the man have a stamina? Because she's all night. Kin, you thirsty boy. Maybe he'd been holding himself back for too long. He was acting very schmexually frustrated. I flinched, reaching back to hold onto the headboard to stop my head from bashing into it. My other hand grabbed Kin's shoulder, digging my fingernails into his skin every time he hit my state. Instead of stopping, he continued. He kept hitting it harder and faster. Jesus Christ. I tried to stop myself from making embarrassing noises, but it was getting more and more difficult to stay quiet. Kin turned to lick at my arm, the one holding his shoulder like he was fascinated by my tattoo. Not so hard. I'm gonna hit my head, I told him. My eyes squeezed shut as my body shivered from the pleasure coursing through me. Kin chuckled slightly before slowing down a little bit. He lifted me off the bed while still buried deep inside me. I didn't have any strength left to resist him, so I let him flip me around until I ended up straddling him. Kin stretched out his leg, his hands going to my hips to support me. I squinted at Kin. His eyes were glazed over with lust. Oh my. As he stared back, he smiled slightly before burying his face in my bruise-covered neck, squeezing my ass. Jeez. So hard that it hurt. I'm sorry. I tried not to laugh. I don't know what to do. I didn't consent to this, Kin. Porsche, I didn't consent to this. When I said I was gonna read, I didn't mean like this. Why? I'm sorry. Oh, I didn't consent, referee. I need out. I need to tap out. Somebody. Anybody. Okay. Let me breathe. Both Porsche and I need to breathe. Am I the one being? No. Okay. He started urging me to move. The friction startled me. It startled me too, babe. It startled me too. And I quickly braced my arms around his neck to steady myself. I'm not gonna moan. Like, I did an attempt. I'm not gonna actually moan. Just moaning sounds, I guess. He lifted me up and down on his ha. I rested my forehead on his shoulder and bit him hard to alleviate some of the pain. Bah! That feels good. I whined, not knowing when I started to ride. Wait a minute. What position are we right now? I forgot. We're on top. Why am I saying we? This isn't a team effort. There's no we. What am I, French? It's a Porsche attempt, baby. You are the baddie and you are the Porsche. You're doing you. It's not on us. Guys, we're not part of this. This is just Porsche and Porsche alone. We're not accompanying you, Porsche. What are you? What position are you in? What do you mean you're on him? The Porsche is riding the man. I started to ride Kin myself. His hands moved from my ass to gently cradle my back. I arched up at the sensation, biting my lips hard and enjoying being able to control the pace. Jesus. Kin let out a long moan. Shit, you're so tight. It's almost painful for me to... Jesus Christ, the corn speech is corny. I was pissed at him, but my body seemed to like it. Damn it! Quickening the pace against my will. Against my will, too. I didn't sign up for this. Yeah, faster. Jeez, am I actually gonna... I should just read the schmexual lines, like, very, like, monotone. Let me try it. Yeah, faster. Just like that. Oh. That's so stupid. Oh. Should I try an American accent? I'm gonna try, like, sounding very American. Wait. No. I tried. Gave up. No. Yeah, let me try again. Yeah. Oh, that was stupid. Yeah, faster. That's not American. The fuck, what am I doing? Yeah, faster. Just like that. That was stupid. Look, Kin ordered, and my body, against my own fucking free will, decided that that's what it was gonna do. So, look, I wasn't used to that feeling. Like, my world was full of bliss up until now. I was living peaches and cream right now. But all I'm living is cream. Fuck. My mind shattered in ecstasy every time Kin hit the spot. It felt better than any sex I've ever had. Are you sure it's your first time? You keep clenching me, Kin chuckled, making me pound my fist hard on his back. He relented. He said, basically, by bending down to bite at my chest with equal force. Why is he biting the titties? Rude. Damn it! You're gonna make me pinnacle. Yeah. You're gonna make me pinnacle. Yeah, Bridgerton reference. You're gonna make me reach pinnacle. Yeah, that sounds right. Kin hissed, gripping my waist more tightly before snapping his hips up in forceful thrusts. Don't bite me, I whined. I can't hold back. Moaning sounds. gasping for air, thrust, thrust, lurk, lurk, blah, 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 yada, yada, sexy, whatever. Look, I grasped his neck more firmly. As Kinn quickened his pace, he alternated between biting my nipples, naughty, and grazing them with his teeth. I swore at him under my breath. But you probably said fuck and he probably thought you were enjoying it. I don't know, something. Look, this bastard just kept tormenting me. Yeah, let's say that. I did not know what I should yell at him for, like ruthlessly pounding into me or biting me like a damn dog. You and your creepy weird fetishes. Shit, I'm gonna Kinn let out a Can I read? No. Kinn let out a low groan before laying me flat on my back. I didn't have a chance to curse at him as he frantically drove his hips into mine. My body moved violently with the strength of his thrust, constantly making my head hit the headboard until waves of dizziness returned. Bastard! My stomach tensed as I got closer to the edge. Kinn kept roughly effing me. It was too much to bear. My mind went blank as I reached pinnacle, my whole body shaking with the force of my reaching pinnacle. Kinn snapped his hips a few more times until he reached to pinnacle. Sorry, my microphone kind of died on me, so I didn't realize until I was more than halfway through the recording. So, where was I? I had to go back to see where I left off. Sorry about that. Let me see. Okay, yeah. Kinn snapped his hips a few more times until he spilled inside me, effing me through it before he finally pulled out. So he reached pinnacle inside of little moi. Well, him, not me. I felt my eyelids grow heavy, and I was unable to maintain consciousness. The pain started to overwhelm me. I cursed at myself over and over for allowing this to happen. I began to drift asleep from exhaustion. I didn't know how ashamed of myself I would be when tomorrow came. But right now I was too fatigued and entirely unprepared to face anything. Shit. That was really something, I guess. It's a good thing I'm out of condoms. I wouldn't let you sleep otherwise. Excuse you? You perverted man. I heard Kinn mutter something before I felt his warm breath on my forehead. I turned away and quickly pulled the blanket over myself so I could curl up in peace. I desperately hoped that this night was just a bad dream. I couldn't wait to wake up and forget about everything. The next day. Have you brought the car around, Pete? Mm-hmm. He's fine. Yeah. It's good that father isn't mad. Yes, I want you to keep looking into this. A faint conversation stirred me from my slumber. When I tried to stretch my body, pain shot through me from head to toe. My face scrunched up as my headache intensified. Before I could recall what happened last night, my eyes met a familiar face. I stared wide-eyed as the memory of last night rushed back like someone had hit a replay button. Jesus, I still remember that, and yes, it's because I just finished reading it, but it'll still. I'm gonna have nightmares. Not nightmares. But it will haunt me. I couldn't believe it. I was in shock, unable to accept what had happened. Why are you looking at me like that? One other round? Kinn teased me before getting off the bed to smoke on the balcony. Ah, so he's the smoking after schmecks type of guy. See, I'm a virgin and asthmatic. Get the joke? It's not a joke, it's true. He was dressed only in the white bathrobe provided by the hotel. I could see glimpses of bruises here and there on his skin, and a stark reminder of what we had done. My body was bruised more than his. Like, my body had more bruises than him. "Hey, that's my cigarette," I said hoarsely as I saw Kinn take a pack of my cigarettes from my pants. I said hoarsely as I saw Kinn take a pack of my cigarettes from my pants pocket without asking. I pushed myself up so I could sit against the headboard. "Just lend me a couple. I didn't bring mine," Kinn replied, gazing out in the room. Out of the room. This was the first time I'd seen Kinn smoke. My eyes lingered on him as he took a drag. A strange feeling stirring inside of me. I quickly looked away. A long sigh escaped me as I finally took in the state of my body. I felt both angry and ashamed, unsure whether to blame Kinn for doing this to me or myself for allowing him to do it. Kinn didn't waste his opportunity to abuse me, so we are accepting that this is abuse. Guys, it's in text. This is assault. Like, you guys already knew that. You guys didn't need it in writing. But just in case someone's like, "Oh, this or that," there was no consent. Understood? Copies? Are we all on the same page? Good. Kinda. So, Kinn, you red flag man. Arrest him, officer. Continuing. If he was referring... Yeah. Sorry, I skipped ahead. Wow. Okay. However, the person I should be most furious with was the one who drugged you in the first place. So honestly, it's Kinn's fault. Let's arrest him. Arrest the fool. Don't let me know who you are, asshole. I'll kill you and your entire family. Wait, what does the family have to do with this? They didn't do it. It was just him. What do you remember? Kinn asked. Matter of fact. My gaze shifted downward nervously, unsure of what he meant. If he was referring to what happened last night between him and me, then yes, I remembered all of the gruesome details. Do you remember who drugged you? Kinn quickly clarified when he noticed me go quiet and tightly gripped the bedsheet. No, I rasped, feeling absolutely parched. Kinn went to grab a bottle of water from the fridge, pouring it into a glass, and handed it to me. I accepted the glass of water from him and quickly took a sip without looking at him. It reminded me of the incident last night. Like, I can't look you in the face. It just reminds me so much. Like, no. But yes. But no. I thought you would go on a full rampage after you woke up, Kinn said with a smile. I didn't reply. I still didn't know I didn't know how I should feel about, well, us. Kinn was not really in the wrong for doing that to me. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. I let him. No, but you were drugged. It doesn't count. No consent was made, my dude. My love. No consent was made. Arrest the fool. Can you tell me what happened? Anything at all? Kinn asked, sitting down next to me on the bed. I tried to shift away from him, even though my entire body ached. I recounted as much as I could remember. Someone told the waiter to bring me 2 glasses of whiskey. I drank them, went to the bathroom, and the last thing I remember was someone trying to grape me. But I don't know. The silence had been more brutal than Kinn. Oh yeah, the other fucker? Yeah. He kept hurting me, using brute force to make me do things against my will. Although my body had responded to his touch, I had only felt disgusted and horrified. It wasn't the same when Kinn was touching me. What did he look like? Kinn asked in a serious tone. I shook my head at him. Suddenly, my headache returned, more intense this time. I needed my temples. Are you all right? Ken asked softly. He lifted his hand as if to touch me, but I quickly brushed him off and tried to get off the bed from the other side. Thunk! Porsche! As soon as I tried to stand up and my feet touched the cold tile, I dropped to the floor. My legs shook uncontrollably. I didn't have the strength to get up. The impact also made me feel a stinging pain in my backside. Uh-oh. Ken tried to assist me. I swatted his hand. I swatted his hand away. Don't. Why are you bleeding so much? Ken suddenly sounded very concerned as he looked down at where I had been sitting on the bed. My gaze followed his. I bit my lip hard at the horrendous sight. The once white bed sheets were now covered in trails of blood. I quickly looked at the back of my bathrobe to find it equally. What did I say? I quickly looked at the back of my bathrobe to find it equally bloodied. You didn't bleed much last night. Why is there so much blood now? Ken asked. I glared at him before attempting to get up, but I glared at him before attempting to get up from the floor again. Ken hurried to help, but I pushed him away. So tough, Ken muttered under his Jesus. Ken muttered in amusement, placing his hands on his hips as he watched me hold on to various items in the room, struggling to get to the bathroom. I felt blood ooze out of me. The metallic smell. I should put a warning for this, should I? By the way, warning blood. I'll put all my warnings at the beginning. I'll just put like a sign, because I didn't read this far ahead earlier when I was doing my little brief. So yeah, lots of blood, Jesus. So, okay, yeah. I felt blood ooze out of me, the metallic smell intensifying with every step I took. I finally reached the bathroom as Ken followed not far behind. I immediately shut the door in his face and locked it behind me. A wave of nausea overwhelmed me, almost making me lose my balance. I'd never thought my body could feel this weak. As I sank down to the floor, tugging my hair in frustration, something in the trash can caught my eye. There were several condoms in the trash, obviously used and covered with blood. Oh. I didn't want to count how many were in there. I knew we didn't stop after one round. I remembered early, the whole ride with Kin during our last round too. The thought of what happened disturbed me, and I loathed Kin even more. However, I hated myself the most. I hated myself for giving in to my desire, for allowing Ken to do whatever he pleased, and for always ending up in shitty situations. Why was this my life? Both my parents were, dead. I had to struggle to provide for both my younger brother and myself. Now I'd been sexually assaulted. If there was nothing good in my life, what was the point of living? How long should I endure these hardships when fate was never on my side? There was a knock on the door. Hey, don't stay in there for too long. I'm gonna take you to a doctor, Ken said. I quickly covered my ears, not wanting to hear his voice right now. It made me even more depressed. I abhorred my body so much. I wished I could. Oh, yeah, I know. I'm definitely gonna have to put more warnings. Holy. Okay. A warning. Just. Wow, that. I'm gonna have to put that trigger warning real big. But I'm gonna say it here, right here now. Self-harm. Okay, I'm not gonna describe too much here, but I will just say. Yeah, he, contemplates self-harming. Okay? and thoughts of unalivement. Just know I do not feel comfortable saying this particular line because I do know that this could be very triggering to some people. Um, Even the Schmexel scene, I will be putting a time skip so you guys could jump ahead. But yeah, this just know there is a mention here. And if you're reading with me, just know that. But skipping that little sentence, let's go to there were only two people to blame, me and that bastard who dared to drug me. I finally forced myself to peel off the bathrobe, revealing my bruised body. I turned on the water and stepped into the shower, hoping it could wash away all these disgusting feelings. I nearly rubbed my skin raw, trying to scrub away the bruises, blatant reminders of what had happened. I reached between my ass cheeks, and a painful burning sensation shot through me as soon as my fingers touched my hole. I quickly braced myself against the wall before my knees could give out on me again. Taking a deep breath, I washed off the gunk between my legs. I didn't know what to do next. I never had, sex with a guy until last night. I never felt attracted to a man at all, not even once. Not even once? My dignity had been completely stripped away. I wondered if I could ever take a dominant role in bed again when the vivid memory of what had happened last night lingered in my mind. Porsche, it's been a long time. Are you all right in there? Kinn asked, just as I opened the door. Still in the same bathrobe, I averted my eyes. Where are my clothes? I demanded. Are you okay? I'm taking you to a doctor, Kinn said before handing me a nearly folded pile of clothes. I quickly closed the bathroom door and took a deep breath. What should I do? I wanted to run away. However, I was forced to confront the problem I created. I should just bite the bullet, right? I walked down the stairs with Kinn, even though it was the most challenging walk of my life. I could barely move my lower body, but I had to force myself to keep on walking. Kinn attempted to help me. Jesus, did I lose my voice somewhere there? Kinn attempted to help hold me up several times, but I brushed his hand away. Kinn told me to wait for him in the lobby. I had already told him that I'd head back, on my own. I didn't, I did not want to go to the hospital. Despite this, Kinn dragged me to wait in the lobby with him, standing right there. He stood with me. I wanted to run away, but my body would not cooperate. I'm so sorry, Kinn said as he paid a fine to the hotel concierge. It must have been for all the blood on the bed. Yikes. The employee took the credit card and smiled at me. I scowled and looked away. Every time I tried to move away from Kinn, he would reach out and grab my arm. Ugh! If only I had the strength, I swore I'd confront that bastard who put me in the situation, starting with Kinn himself. Kinn successfully dragged me into his fancy sedan. I resisted a little bit, telling him that I would go home by myself, but he pushed me into the passenger seat and closed the door. I'm fine, I said, staring out the window as Kinn slowly drove. Damn it! You don't look fine at all. Don't be so stubborn. You were such a good boy last night. Excuse you, Kinn? Kinn said, laughing, but I didn't find it funny. Yeah, excuse you, Kinn? I did not want to endure the ridicule, the loss of dignity. Stop, I'm getting out, I barked at him. I was just kidding, Kinn teased, his eyes still on the road. I was sick and tired of his bullshit. The more I looked at him, the more disgusted with myself I became. I unlocked the door on my side, ready to get out of the car while it was still moving. Moving. Push, what the hell are you doing? Kinn slammed on the brakes so suddenly that the car lunged forward. We jerked forward and Kinn grabbed my arm. Let me go. don't want to go with you, I yelled, pushing his hand away. I couldn't take it anymore, so I made a rash and stupid decision to jump out with the car still in motion. Before I could, Kinn grasped my arm tightly and closed the car door on my side. Screech! With my unpredictable actions making us stop in the middle of the road, traffic piled up behind us. Kinn let out a small grunt before quickly maneuvering the car out of the jam. Are you crazy? Kinn growled. Do you want to die? I remained silent and sat still, my eyes still looking out the window. I know it's hard to accept, but it happened. What do you want me to do? Kinn sighed, his gaze shifting forward. Yeah, Kinn, you are being Jesus. I don't know, guys. I was kind of liking Kinn before, but and this volume was kind of yikes, yikes. Sorry. Um, why didn't you stop? I blurted out without thinking, fully aware of how tense the situation was. I was just trying to help you. Kinn said with a small smile. I turned to glare daggers at him before turning my gaze back outside the window. Eventually, we arrived at the hospital. Ever since I got into the car, I'd been shivering like I was coming down with a fever, my head periodically throbbing. Kinn helped me open the car door and took me to the examination room in a wheelchair. I sighed. I was in an absolutely terrible state. Kinn put his hand on my forehead. You're running a fever too. I quickly shook him off and shot him an annoyed glance. I kept telling him to leave me alone, but he wouldn't listen. I didn't have the energy to yell at him. Mr. Parchada? Examination room 2, please. A male nurse pushed my wheelchair into the exam room when my name was called, Kinn following along behind me. I had no idea what I was going to tell the doctor. You can just leave, I told him. Kinn ignored me, walking to sit in front of the doctor and politely greeting him with a wide gesture. It seemed like the doctor knew him. As soon as they saw each other, they exchanged pleasantries, so the doctor was, well, what he seemed was to be an acquaintance of Kinn. I wanted the ground to open and swallow me whole. What's the matter, Kinn? What do we have here? He's a friend. How are you, uncle? Are you busy? Of course I'm busy. People are getting sick more and more often every day. The doctor, who was also Kinn's uncle apparently, examined me and exchanged glances with Kinn. Then he instructed the male nurse to take me into the inner room. Parchara, you appear to have a fever. Go into that room, lie down, and wait. Don't follow, I quickly told Kinn, and he smiled in acknowledgement. What brings you here? The middle-aged doctor asked, smiling at me. At this point, I was lying on the exam table, absolutely mortified. I, when I woke up in this morning, I was bleeding from. I stammered, unable to speak clearly. Me on a regular day basis, basically, because that's just me reading. I stammered, unable to speak clearly. I wanted to ask the doctor if there was an injection that could just put me out of my misery. I just wanted to. Yikes. I see. Take off your pants then. Huh? I jerked my head up in shock. The doctor just chuckled and smiled gently. He then instructed the male nurse to pull down my pants and lift my leg. Damn it! If I had died now, how could I muster the courage to face my partner in the afterlife? This was the most embarrassed I'd ever been. When the doctor bent down between my legs, I couldn't bear to watch it. I felt the urge to cover my face and bite my lip to suppress the insurmountable shame. Damn you, Kinn! I wanted to grab a scalp and cut his dick off. How dare you make me feel this embarrassed? I wanted to disappear. Whoa, the doctor exclaimed, managing to crush my spirit for for a moment. Okay, was it that bad? Doc, just rip off the band-aid, just tell me. The doctor sighed. Oh, Ken, he muttered to himself before instructing the nurse to pull my pants back up. Yeah, I'll prescribe medication for you. In the meantime, take care of yourself, maintain good hygiene, and take your medication on time, okay? The doctor said. Then both the doctor and the nurse led me back to the examination room, where Ken sat smiling. How is it, Uncle? Ken asked. Ken, you need to be gentle next time. The fuck? The doctor replied with a sigh. The tissues! They're very delicate, you asshole! You dumb fuck! My face went rigid. I didn't know who I wanted to punch first. The doctor or Ken? The doctor shook his head slightly while Ken just sat there cheerfully smiling. If I wasn't so weak right now, I would have lifted my wheelchair and smashed the living out of him. Look, I'm giving you antibiotics, anti-inflammatory medication, and electrolyte solution, and something to reduce that fever, the doctor told me. The bleeding should stop soon. Get some rest and drink plenty of fluids. This doctor has no table manners. Bed manners? I don't know what it's called. But he has none of it. I sighed deeply. I didn't think I could ever accept what had happened last night. I took the medicine. Ken paid for all my medical expenses because if he didn't, I would strangle him. Then grabbed me and put me in his car again to take me home. Wait a minute, I was just thinking. Porsche. Porsche. If he goes home and Porsche sees him like this, wouldn't he think like he'd probably be like, oh, I should continue reading, should I? I was just thinking, I was like, oh god, Porsche. Porsche's gonna see his brother in this state. Ah. Ooh. I was startled when Ken suddenly spoke. Wait, did I skip? I think I skipped ahead. I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, I did skip. Because I was thinking about poor little Porsche. Okay, inside the car, I felt both feverish and cold. My headache grew more intense, and my breathing became so hot that it irritated my nose. I leaned back in the seat and closed my eyes as Ken started driving. I was startled when Ken suddenly spoke. Don't be so quiet. He briefly shifted his gaze away from the road to look at me. I'm not used to this. Usually you'd have yelled at me by now. Being silent is it's not like you. Like, come on. Insult me or something like that. I was indeed not my usual self. I didn't know how to cope with what was going on. I wanted to blame myself. I wanted to end myself. I felt such a potent mix of hatred and fury that I did not dare to express my feelings outwardly. You can't go back and change the past, Porsche. All you can do is accept it, Ken said. But I disagreed. Yeah, it's easy for you to say. Also, you shut the f up, Ken. You're the last person who should be talking. You should be in handcuffs. I couldn't bring myself to accept the major mistake of my life. You did literally nothing, my king. You are innocent of all wrongdoing. You're not me, so of course you can't just say that, you bastard. Of course you can just say that. Do you want to get next time? I yelled at him without thinking. So, wait, there's gonna be a next time? Ken chuckled, but I didn't find it amusing. That jackass. No, there will not be a next time. I'll fight you to death before that happens. You son of a bitch. I would not allow Ken and his smug, dumb fuck face to get away with this. I shifted in the seat, turning my back to Ken. My gaze wandered outside the window until I drifted off to sleep. Much, much later. This is your place? Kin said, waking me up. My heavy eyelids struggled to open. I saw Kin open the car door on my side and leaning in close. His hand held the bag and medicine the doctor had prescribed me. I quickly pushed him out of the way. He smiled in response. Are you okay? He asked, reaching out to help me, but I stared him down. You can go now, I said bluntly. Then I snatched the bag of medication from his bag. Do you want me to order something for you to eat? I forced myself to walk into the house as quickly as possible, slamming the door in Kin's face with a loud bang before he could say anything more. I struggled up the stairs to the bedroom, feeling a sharp, stinging pain in my ass. Every time the pain coursed through my body, I felt miserable and ashamed. Once I was in my bedroom, I quickly searched for a bottle of water. I took the medicine the doctor prescribed, not caring to check if I needed to take it with food or not. Then I collapsed on my bed. The image of Kin's face still lingered in my mind, hurting me even hurting me even more. If the situation was different and Kin had forced himself on me, I would have killed him myself. He basically did. You still can't do that. You could definitely, because he did force himself. Like, let's be honest, he did do that. Like, why are you reacting? He didn't do that. He did do that. I was there. I would have made sure of it. However, putting the blame solely on Ken wasn't fair. No, it was totally fine, totally valid. You can totally blame Ken. He did, do that. I vividly remember everything he said. I was the only one who instigated everything. No, you weren't, and you are the victim, my love. I was so ashamed of myself for begging Kin like that. I hated myself to the point of madness. If I had to yell at or slap anyone, well, it would have to been myself. I submitted to him, cried out for his touch. But even so, I still hated Kin. If I'd hated him before now, I abhorred him even more. I didn't want to look at him, stand close to him, or have anything to do with him. I didn't even want to think about him. I shook my head a little to chase away my memories, but the more I tried to forget, the more I remembered both his body and his gaze from last night. They were burned in my mind. Yeah? Yeah? Are you okay? A familiar voice woke me up. Even in the dream I'd just woken from, Ken's face still haunted me in that dream. I'd punched and kicked him without any mercy, and I'd started searching for a gun to shoot him with. Ah! I groaned. You're back! I grabbed my phone where it was plugged into the wall and looked at the time. It was like 5 in the evening. I didn't even know when I fell asleep. Yeah? What did you do? Why are you covered in chai? Che? Yeah, poor Che. Che eyed me in suspicion before I pulled the blanket over my body to hide the marks. I had a little problem, but I'm okay, I told my younger brother in the hoarse voice. In a hoarse voice. I just keep imagining him going nay. I grimaced in pain when I swallowed. Che tapped my forehead. You're running a fever. I'll heat up some porridge for you, he said, then walked downstairs. I took a deep breath, looked at the clock. I took a deep breath, looked at the closed door, and then glanced down at my body once again. Why did I have to go through this? What would Che do if he knew? Would he be able to accept me after what I had been through? After sleeping for a while, my urge to know more about the person who brought me into this terrible situation intensified. Who was that? Who was behind all of this? Why did he drug me? What did he want from me? What was his motives? I had to investigate and find out who was behind all of this. I swore that I would not let him unpunished. Here you go. Finish your food first, then take some medication, Chase said, placing a tray of porridge beside the bed. Oh, you have medicine already? He went to grab the bag of medicine. It's from that expensive hospital, too. Good. You'll recover quickly, he said, flashing me a smile. He handed me the bowl of rice porridge. Okay, but am I the only one? It's because he played him in the live action. When it said that Chase smiled. I just imagined Barcode, the actor. He's so cute. Sorry, I had to distract myself thinking about Barcode's pretty little smile. Where did you get it? That was quick, I said before propping myself up against the headboard and taking the bowl of steamed porridge. Its fragrant aroma spread throughout the room. I didn't. I saw it hanging on the doorknob in front of the house. I thought you ordered it and forgot it, so I heated it up, Jay replied. I paused for a moment and glanced at him. It was just hanging there? I asked. Yeah, it was in front of the house. If you didn't order it, who did? He said, looking puzzled. I put down the spoon and pushed the bowl toward him. Go buy a new one. I don't know who it is. I said, I figured it was Kin. I wasn't stupid. I knew it was Kin. 10 out of 10 was Kin. Got it? Besides him, no one else probably would have known I was sick, so yeah, no, fuck him. Hey, I'm too lazy to walk to the street where these food stalls are. Just eat it. If it's, at our house, it must be ours, Chase said, stirring the bowl of porridge. He scooped up a spoon and blew on it slightly before holding it up to my lips. No, I don't want it. If you're too lazy to go out, then go to the kitchen and make me some yourself, I said. I didn't want to take anything from Kin. I hated him. I didn't want to be involved with him in any way. Are you crazy? Shay laughed. You know we've never cooked for ourselves. Every time we cook, it's a disaster. Last time, half the kitchen almost burned off. And you were just making cereal. Look, we're lucky we know how to make instant noodles. And that's called culinary expertise, my love. Hey, Che, you should invest in cooking classes. Just saying. They make instant noodles for me, I said, pushing his hand away from my mouth. You're being so stubborn. Just eat what we have. Nom 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 nom. Say ah. Jay pushed the spoon into my mouth. It took significant effort to chew and swallow it down. My taste buds no longer worked. All I could sense was warmth and bitterness slide down my throat. Hurry up! Open your mouth. Ah. Just come on, you can do it. Ah. Che ordered. I opened my mouth slightly and forced myself to chew and swallow another spoonful. Before he could scoop up more, I raised my hand and signaled him to stop. Enough, I'm full, I said, picking up a glass of water to drink. You've only had 2 bites. Just one more down the hatch, please. Please, just one more. Che shoved a mouthful of rice and a large shrimp into my mouth. I had to chew for a long time before I could swallow it all down. Enough. Do you want me to puke in your face? I snapped. Che finally put down the bowl and handed me my medication. Anti-inflammatory, antibiotics, electrolytes. He read the label on the side of the packet. His eyebrows furrowed. What's wrong? What's wrong with you, Hia? Why are you taking all of this? He asked, holding up the various containers of medicine. I bit my lip slightly before I answered him. I got beaten up by a whole gang of guys. I stepped on someone's foot in the bar and it set them off. Just hand them over, please, I said, grabbing the medicine from his hand. I took them out from the packets one by one, swallowing them with a sip of water. You could have died here. Well, I'll go make you some of that electrolyte drink, I guess. I knew Che wouldn't believe my lie, but it seemed like he was going to let it go, at least for now. That was a relief. Soon Che returned with the glass of electrolyte solution and placed it next to my bed. Thanks, I said before taking a sip. I don't know what you went through, but if you're okay with making me worry myself sick over you, then go ahead and continue with your job, he said before silently walking out of my room. I took a long, deep breath. I doubted. I doubted I could figure out how to call Che or how to tell Che what had happened. Ring! I answered the phone when I saw it was Tem. Hello? Why weren't you in class? Tem asked. I texted and called you a bunch of times, but you never answered. I'm sick. I might be out this whole week. Please write down what assignments we have, I replied with a hoarse voice. Oh, God, is it serious? Tem asked, sounding concerned. No, I'm good, I answered before I remembered something. Tem, could you tell Pete Beam to find someone to replace me? I don't think I can be in the competition. Look, in my current state, I would lose if I entered a competition next week. If I was not at all prepared to be kicked or punched right. Look, I was not having it, basically. Are you that sick? Okay. I'll tell P Beam. Where are you, by the way? Home. I'm gonna get some rest now. Oh, okay, rest up. Don't worry. I'll take care of it, Tam said before hanging up. I tossed the phone next to my pillow and slowly lay back down. When I closed my eyes, all I could see was Kinn. Even when I told myself to think of something, literally anything else, I kept flashing back to the image of his face. I tried to open my eyes, but the medicine was making me drowsy. I soon fell back to sleep. The next day! Ring! I slowly woke up and fished for my phone under the pillow. Who was calling me this early in the morning? I looked at the unsaved phone number and my eyes widened in shock when I recognized who it was. Kinn. I quickly rejected the call and turned my phone off. I was shocked to see his number because I dreamed of Kinn again last night. Damn it. In my dream, I was pointing a gun at his head, ready to fire. However, my dream self suddenly broke into tears. Fucking coward. I wanted to go back to sleep so I could blow his head to pieces and tell Dream Me that he was a fucking pussy. That would be incredibly satisfying, honestly. I saw a bowl of porridge and my medicine on a tray sitting atop the bedside table. Che must have prepared it before he went to school today. No, he didn't. I love the kid, but he did not do that. I got out of bed feeling better than yesterday. I could still feel a painful, burning in my, back. And I was a little, chilly, but it wasn't as severe as before. I grabbed a cigarette and headed toward the balcony. Lighting it up, I took a drag and blew out the smoke to vent my anger. My body felt better than yesterday, but my heart felt even worse. I leaned onto the banister, looking at the tattoo on my upper arm. I remember Kinn's particular fascination with this part of me. The thought of him touching me made me squeeze the banister in agony. What would I do when I saw him in person? He haunted me even in my dreams. How could I stand following him around at work? How could I bear having those images appear in my head over and over again? Would I hate him even more? My whole day revolved around having a few bites to eat, taking my medicine and falling asleep. Around like dusk, I walked up to the rooftop. Che and I kept it locked because there were no guardrails, only an old satellite receiver and overgrown moss. I sat down and kept lighting one cigarette after another, feeling the cold air in my face. I absent-mindedly looked up at the sky, missing my mom and dad. If they were still here, my life wouldn't have turned out like this, right? I wouldn't be in disgrace. I wouldn't hate myself. My heart sank as I reflected on the chaos of these past few days. How could I find a way out of this? How could I face anyone? I felt vulnerable in a way I had never had before. I was tired, weak, and outright drained. The pain in my body reminded me every second of what had happened, and the pain in my heart made me feel like I had nothing left to live for. I grew up without anyone to lean on. I felt alone. I'd always been the one to lift myself up and move forward. But today, I couldn't. I couldn't heal the pain in my heart. I felt discouraged. I felt discouraged and hopeless. I didn't know where to run. I looked down from the roof, my heart quivering. Would I be able to live with this hideous body? It was black and blue, covered with marks that would forever be drilled into my mind. My heart wanted someone to protect and support me. Could it be Mom and Dad? Please be here with me. I'm so tired. All the sorrows I'd been through made it more absurd. I was a man with nothing, not even my dignity. Did I not belong in this world? A part of me wanted to see my mom and dad right that instant. I wanted to be in their arms. But before I could do anything, someone pulled me out of this abyss, outside the abyss of dangerous thoughts, and brought me into my senses. What the hell are you doing? Chase shouted, wrapping his arms around my waist and pulling me away from the building's edge. It was dreadful, going down into the abyss of my mind. Che? I lifted my head to see my little brother sitting down and panting next to me. He frowned in anger and softly pushed my chest. What the hell are you doing? Did you even stop to think about me? He protested, hitting my shoulder. It ached. Nothing. I was just smoking, I said, pushing down my dark thoughts. What the hell are you smoking up here then? What if you fell? My brother implored me. I stared at Che. I forgot who I should be living for. I had to stay alive for him. Why was why was I thinking about dying? I pulled him close and hugged him, sighing in relief. The only person who pulled me up from the depths of despair was him, though I had nothing left. He was the only person I had to take care of for the rest of my life. Sorry, I whispered. Go quit your job. I don't know if it's because of your job or not, but look, I can't stand it anymore. You're never happy. Every time you're home, you're either injured or you're sad or go quit, like right now. Che lightly smacked my back. His voice was sharp, like he was giving me an ultimatum. I didn't reply, but I kept hugging him for a while, reminding myself I should always keep him at the forefront of my mind. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys the image. Right now it should be on screen. I might have cried a little bit. You guys probably didn't hear that. Pero just know I might have cried a little bit. This image is really pretty. So just admiring. Let's admire the image a little bit more. The next day, Che treated me to the same as always, but he locked the door of the rooftop and kept all the keys to himself. No matter how much I told him I was not gonna kill myself, he said it was a matter of safety. He was afraid I might do something impulsive because I was so stressed out. He was right. So I tried to play games and watch TV to, get all these images off my head. In the evening, Tam and John came to visit. They noticed how bruised I was, even though I was wearing a long-sleeved t-shirt and pants. Did you get into a fight with a dog? The fuck? There was a minor altercation. I'm fine, I murmured. Do you still have a fever? John asked, putting the back of his hand on my forehead. I lightly shook my head. I'm okay. Damn, you've been getting into trouble recently. Did you take your medication? Tim asked. I nodded. The bandages on your neck seem to get bigger every time I see you. I wonder where that starving vampire is from, Dom said, squinting his eyes at me. I shifted in my seat, pretending to pay attention to the TV. Huh? Very well, keep your secrets. But don't come crying to me for help. Tim crossed his arm. I've never cried to you. I huffed, flipping through the channels and stopping at my favorite cartoons. What's his favorite cartoons? I want to know. Pff, whatever you say. And since you've gotten better, we came to get you to go out for a drink with us. There's a new place with good music and gorgeous chicks. Let's flush out your fever, John said leisurely. I could tell John didn't really care about my health, bastard. He just wanted someone to drink with, jackass. Would that be all right? Porsche looks pretty tired, Tim commented. Thank you, Tim. Man, you just need a drink to, wash the fever out. With all the, lights and the music, I guarantee you'll feel better in no time. John, I love you, but that is not how that works. You'll probably get him worse. I hesitated for a second. Well, it sounded like I might be a good idea. No, it doesn't. Keeping myself busy would help me, take my mind off those thoughts. Although I couldn't really wait properly. And my body still did ache. If it's, succumbed to my sorrow, if I succumbed to my sorrow, I could end up drowning in it. It would be better if I went outside and interacted with the world. You know what? Yeah, okay, let's go. I took a shower and changed, remembering to put on something with long sleeves. I decided to wear a turtleneck just to avoid any prying questions, and it should fit, with the whole vibe of the place. Tam and Jump told me that it was luxury and a budget. It was luxury on a budget. Both of them looked pretty, perplexed when they saw me walk downstairs, though. Aren't you hot wearing that shit? You assholes. I said nothing and followed them to the car. We drove straight into the city. The new club was not that far from from our university. It looked fancy from the outside, like a high-class bar, but there was live music and good deals on booze and they were listed on the walls. You had like cheap stuff but also like high-end stuff. It was cool. This place is new, so I needed you to come check it out, John said, and turned to order a drink from a waiter. A bunch of chicks followed Tam and me with their eyes. This place was excellent, just as John had said. 12 o'clock. You have a deal, John said, and winked, signaling me to look at a scantily clothed chick. I smiled and she smiled back. Cheers to Porsche, who has recovered! Tam chuckled and lifted his glass in the air. We toasted each other and drowned our drinks. We toasted and we drank, okay? We chatted as we drank until the place started to get crowded. Groups of people flocking together. It was a good thing we'd come early enough to get a table to ourselves. Wow. I checked how popular I was by smiling and lifting my glass for a toast at random people. Finally, the same girl who had eyed me when I first had walked into this place came. Finally, the same girl who had eyed me when I first walked into the place came and led me by my hand to the dance floor. I wasn't a good dancer and I still couldn't really walk right, so I just placed my hand on her hip and swayed with her. Not long after, she led me to the bathroom and locked the door. I hesitated. Would she freak out if she saw all the marks on my body? But I had no more time to think as she pulled my neck down and fiercely kissed me. I kissed her back, sliding my tongue into her mouth. I couldn't keep my hands to myself. caressing the curves of her hips until I couldn't reach inside her dress. Until I could reach inside her dress. Yeesh. Suddenly, an image of Kin effing me flashed in my head. I jerked away a little, and she looked at me in confusion. It's nothing, I said. Starting over, I closed my eyes and tilted my head to receive her kiss. This time, I quickly moved my hand to her breast. As I grabbed them, an image surfaced in my mind of me stroking Kin's body. My eyes snapped open, but I didn't push her. I didn't push her supple body away. I let her suck and kiss my lips as much as she wanted. Maybe if I had sex with her tonight, I could erase some of the thoughts of Kin, so I nuzzled her neck, trying to turn her on. Mmm, she moaned, unhooking my pants before shoving her petite hands inside. I fondled her breasts with one hand, while the other startled to the side under her dress. Huh? You don't want to do it? She exclaimed. She broke the kiss and pulled my flaccid hoo-ha out of my jeans. I went a little pale. I wasn't turned on at all. Let's try again, I told her, and I leaned down to kiss her lips. This time I reached down to stroke myself at the same time. That should probably do the work, right? 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 Um, well, I rubbed my fingers around until I started to feel some dampness, and then I was pretty okay. Let's stop it right here. Goodbye. She huffed, looking between my legs in disappointment. I sighed heavily and watched as she left, feeling pathetic that I couldn't get. I looked I locked the stall door and sat down on the toilet, trying to think of a reason why my, you know, didn't work. That one was exactly my type. How could it be possible that I didn't feel anything when she touched me there? Suddenly images of Kin reappeared, the touching, the kissing, and when we a rush of pleasure raced through me. It was a satisfying feeling that I'd never felt before. I let my mind wander until shit, I exclaimed when I saw that my, was still hung outside my unzipped pants. Yeah, it was, yeah. Damn it! I pressed my lips together tightly and controlled my breath, trying to will away my, What the hell? Hooking up with a chick couldn't get me, but Ken could, that bastard. I finally managed to get my sobs again, but didn't by thinking about horror movies. Look, I zipped my pants back up, unlocked the door, and left the stall. As I looked toward the sink, my entire body froze. The man in my thoughts had come to life. Ken, I whispered. He was washing his hands, but he stared back at me through the reflection in the mirror. As our eyes met, he slowly cracked a smile. Apparently, we're getting a special. Yeah, special. Porsche. We are in Porsche's POV. Excuse guys, we are now currently Porsche. I was feeling cutesy. Oh, hopefully it's not as intense as. Look, I love Porsche. Con permiso. No ads. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but announcement truck thing is passing by. You know those cars with the speakers. And let's ignore that. If you guys didn't hear it, then it'll be so weird me just saying that randomly. Pero we're Porsche now. Wee. Like I was saying, I love Porsche, pero it's quite intense right now. We need a little comic relief. We need relief is what we need. Comic relief, adorable relief, whatever you want to call it. Go quit your job. Okay, no, we're starting with this. Okay, go quit your job. I don't know if it's because of your job or not, but I can't stand it anymore. You're never happy. Every time you're home, you're either injured or you're sad or you go quit right now. I spoke in those words from the heart. Porsche was never happy. It was really bad. It was really bad. The most recent time he came home, my brother was never afraid of anything. Always confident in himself and was always the coolest of us two. However, the Porsche I knew seemed to have disappeared that day. He he started working at that damn house. Stop here, please. I told the cab driver to stop in front of a massive, impressive looking door. Wow, amazing, I thought. But then again, my brother worked for the mafia, right? I mean, if they had to hire bodyguards, it made sense that their house would be like really over the top. Oh my god, where are we? Tay, where are we? I just noticed. Are we? Oh god. I'd seen a guy named Ken barge into my house, and he looked powerful. My brother probably worked under a lot of stress. He really wasn't acting like himself anymore. I paid the taxi driver, got out of the car, and glanced at the opulent door. I took a deep breath. I could not stand to see my brother like this anymore. Whatever happens, if I got out of here alive or not, I would not be afraid for the sake of my brother. Well, you really are his brother. I feared nothing. You really are his brother. Yikes. For the sake of my brother, I feared nothing, not even the mafia. I was just going to talk to them and make them understand. Because I was not going to lose my brother, and much less to those son of a bitches. Listen, we are all we have. What will I do if something happens to you? I wasn't going to just sit there and wait for the day to come. Like the fuck? I rang that doorbell furiously, standing with my foot tapping. I was tapping on one foot and my arms crossed. It was a very cool pose. Yeah, if I just said it to myself, I looked really cool. I was a very cool guy, so yeah. That's because these guys were the mafia. Like, it didn't mean they had to like the power. They had all the power around here, so like they could suck my dick if they wanted to. I could even call the police to come arrest them. I could call the popo. It was it was taking a while for someone to come up and open the door, so the in I kept ringing that fucking bell. I was not letting go. Ding 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 ding. If you ask me how I knew the way here, well, it was because I'd been secretly following my brother. At first, I didn't want to act like an idiot interfere with his work, but like I didn't want to look like a dumb kid either. So I was far more mature than my brother thought I was. He didn't think he was playing chess. I was playing 3D chess. I was 15 steps ahead. Good. And today, I'm gonna stand up for my brother. Watch out, Mafia. The real threat will be arriving. The real apex predator is here. You're gonna get to know me today. This is Porche Pizzaya, Porsche's younger brother. The real apex predator in this block. I don't even study. I get by hopes and prayers. Damn, am I Shay? Is Shay me? Dang! I've been pressing that doorbell for so long that my hands were starting to cramp. You should switch up hands, baby. Was no one wondering who was out there ringing the fucking bell? If I were inside, I would have come out to scold whoever it was by now. While I stood there, frowning, a luxury car swished on its turn signal and prepared to enter the mansion. The gate slowly began to open. I looked between the vehicle and the gate before deciding to do something. Stop! I yelled, throwing my arms out with all my strength. Then I jumped in front of the moving car with my eyes squeezed shut. Beep! The car's horn blared for a long time, so loudly that I had to cover my ears. What the hell was the point of that noise? Thud! Whoosh! I heard movement in front of me and behind me. I instinctively raised both my hands above my head with a dazed look on my face. Everything happened so quickly. What the hell is going on? Said one of the 20 men in black suits who emerged from both the car and the house, pointing guns at me. Guns? Oh yeah, right. They have guns. I forgot. Wait, they're mafia, right? Oops. They have guns and Even though I said I wouldn't be scared, my legs shook so much that I almost collapsed. Yeah, help me. My mind went blank, my ears went deaf, and I felt like I was gonna faint. Then a deep and imposing voice shouted from the car, "Are you all out of your minds?" Everything felt silent. Those words clearly carried the power to send shivers down everyone's spine because each gun was, swiftly lowered. That's a high school student. Use your fucking brain. A chill swept over me as the doors of the car opened, making my hair stand on end, trying to get my bearings. Look, I grabbed my school. I grabbed them. Jesus, can I? I grabbed at my school uniform, spinning around to check that I was still alive. Okay, still got it, still breathing. Check me, I'm good. Kid running in front of a car like that. Have you got a death wish or what? I looked up at the tall figure who was imposing and intimidating and somehow kind, with like pretty eyes and like I don't know. I think he's like, Che, why the fuck are you flirting? He's like, he kind of looks nice. I Okay, well, you have to stop flirting because he was a middle-aged man. He was a middle-aged man, tall and elegant. No, maybe I was flirting. I thought for a moment it was gonna be Jeff Satter. Sorry. Never mind. Scratch all the flirting. Maybe. No, scratch it. He was a middle-aged man, tall and elegant. He had a handsome face and slightly intimidating eyes. When he stood in front of me, my legs and mouth shivered so violently I thought I was at the North Pole. What's the matter, kid? You You are, I said, trying to suppress my fear. Judging from his, demeanor, it seemed like he might be the leader of this house, but I was not entirely sure. Out of, everyone in the mafia, I only knew Kin. Like, I met him, maybe a couple times, and some guy named Khan or whatever. This brat has been ringing the doorbell at the front of the house for fun for a while, sir. A man in black suit reported. What the hell? Okay, so you knew I was here, an asshole. I was not here for fun. I was here for real business. Damn it. He saw and heard me, but didn't open the door? Should I punch him in the face while you really are Portia's brother? I immediately turned to glare at the man who spoke, but when I saw that he was holding a gun, I kept my fighting spirit inside. It was an inward. He's like, I'm gonna never mind. He's got a gun. Let's keep those thoughts inwards, baby. I am teeny tiny and I have little arms, baby. What's up, kid? Do you have some business here? The intimidating man asked in a comforting voice, gradually assuring my fears. I. The man must have seen my hesitation, so he quickly intervened, casually putting his hands in his pocket. I'm the owner of this house. Who are you looking for? My brother, Porsche, I said boldly. Yeah, let's say that. Though I still felt afraid. The man immediately felt silent, looking like he had just heard something shocking. However, after a moment he smiled slightly. You're Portia's brother, huh? No wonder you look so much like him. Do you know my brother? I asked. Like he might be, the leader of the house, but I was not entirely sure out of everyone in the mafia. I had wait, damn it, oops, I thought I moved to the next page. Okay. Of course I know him. I hired Porsche myself. Hearing that, I felt like I was no longer in a dangerous situation, and I became furious again, reviving the flames of fury. So it was you, I said with a sigh. This old fucker, this old man, could be the one putting so much pressure on my brother, almost to the point of coercion. He did have an imposing demeanor after all. I will never, I will get revenge for you. Yeah. Yes. Let's go inside. I'm not sure if Porsche is here yet, so, he said, gesturing toward the car behind him as if to invite me to get in. Wait, I commanded. My hands seemed to have a mind of their own, settling on my hips as I looked up at him defiantly. I wanted to make it clear that I wasn't here as a friend, but as an adversary. Huh. He turned to look at my stance and smiled. I did not know what he thought was so funny. Had he never been challenged by someone younger? or sexier than him, or what? I'm here to negotiate, I said, and the old man raised his eyebrows. I don't want my brother to work here anymore, I continued in a firm tone, but the old man kept smiling. Like two peas in a pot. Fuck, he remarked with a shake of his head, but his face showed no signs of hesitation. What? Why don't you want Porsche to work here? He asked. I don't want my brother to be so stressed out. I guess you're some kind of power crazy person because every time my brother comes home, he's depressed, I said, pacing around with my hands on my hip, circling the old man. I was not afraid of his henchmen who stood around with angry expressions. Watch your manners. Do you know who you're talking to? One of his lackeys piped up. He looked just as intimidating as the old man, but even kind of more hostile. Do they think they can just scare a little Porsche? No, 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 no. I'm not scared at all. So what? Where did you come from to be so high and mighty? I told the henchman. Let me ask you this. Honestly, if you have children or grandchildren, would you want to send them to work in a dangerous place like this? As Portia's younger brother, I was not afraid of anybody. Even though my heart was pounding fast, it was still strong, pumping out warrior blood. I'm a warrior cat, I guess. What's wrong with Porsche? I saw him recently. He was just fine. If I was not mistaken, the old man was looking at me with compassion. There was no sign of anger, which was weird. If I were in his place, I would have shot me in the face already for daring to insult a mafia leader. But hey, he must have been afraid of my power, obviously. He can't see the superior being that I am. Clearly, I exclude power. Yeah, that was the word I was looking. No, it's not. I probably mispronounced that, but that's what I emit, the sense of power or some other shenanigans. Like, which gave me the strength to fight for my brother with everything I had. The love I had for my brother was so potent that they could sense it. Definitely. The fearsome potential in me. My Porche. I mean, Mr. Porche, which is me. Let them know who they are messing with. No. I love this confidence he has. I love this blind, absolutely totally valid confidence. Our king. If anyone's gonna put people straight, it's gonna be him, our tiny, tiny little leader. Find my ass, I shouted. You little brat. Another old man, who looked like Mr. Number 2, acted like he was gonna slap me, so I quickly shut my mouth. Oh. Calm down, Chan, Mr. Number 1 said, holding him back. He sighed. Is something bothering Porsche? I'm the one who should be asking. I'm the one who should ask that old man. What did you do to my brother? Your brother is too stubborn. I don't dare to even say anything to him, the old man said with a faint laugh. Liar. My brother has to take medication right now. He's badly sick and he's really stressed out. He's acting like some suicidal. I can't bear to see him like that, I said. It looks like you already have a ton of bodyguards. Sparing my brother and letting him go won't do you any harm, right? If he's not comfortable with anything, let him come and talk to me. But I can assure you that I take care of Porsche like I take care of my own children, the old man said as he walked over the hood of the car and leaned against it, arms crossed. I thought he seemed tired because of his age, but a mafia boss shouldn't get tired so easily, right? I was confused. What kind of mafia are you? You get tired? Do you think you're a person? You disgust me. You can say whatever you want, you power-hungry mobster, I yelled. Let's go inside, sir. We've wasted enough time here, Mr. Number 2 said, probably eager to taste my powerful punches. Yeah, let's say that. Wasting time, I said. I want you to promise that you won't let Porsche work here anymore. I know that my brother is talented and cool as hell. We, you know, the Sawat family are an undeniable prestige. We're full of courage and we're super intimidating too. I know how much you want him on your side, but I'm sorry, I'm not sharing him with you. The old man shook his head lightly as he had just been told a funny story. Well, he is hearing a toddler scream at him. In his defense, he's seeing a boy that's like 3 apples tall being like, well, let me talk to Porsche myself, he said. You have to promise me that you won't let him work here again. What's your name, kid? The old man asked, ignoring what I just said. Why bother learning it? He pressured me to agree to my demands. I pressured him to agree to my demands, but the old man kept trying to change the subject. Suddenly, another fancy car pulled up and parked behind the first one. Beep! Oh, why the hell is that car honking so loudly? Are they fucking deaf? I cursed intensely. Want to go inside the house first, please? I'm begging you, please. The old man continued. Why would I? Neither I nor my brother will ever step foot in this house again. Father, is something wrong? A mysterious voice made the whole group turn to look. When I saw the newcomer walking in, gracefully, mind you, Kim, my son, you're back. Son? 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 I looked back and forth between the magnificent mansion and the guy named Kim. Only one thing came to my mind. Well, I'm screwed. I'm screwed. What's going on, Father? Oh, Kim turned to look at me in curiosity. Oh, shit. That's right. I knew this guy. But we had a bit of a disagreement, and it did not end well. I never thought I would see him here. Oh, great. We're getting fucking Chaylor. That's great. I love this part. I, I stuck I stood stock still, like my entire body was frozen solid. My inner badass smacked my head, trying to wake me up in my thoughts. My alter ego and I were beating each other up like crazy. Excuse me. What did you just say? I tried to divert my focus to the old man, not Kim, please, because I hated his guts. He had caused a lot of trouble for me, okay? Ugh. Now I knew why my brother was. But now I knew my brother got sick and stressed out, working at a house like belonging to Kim's father must be nerve-wracking. I bet that old man was no different from his son. Ah! The more I thought about it, the more resentful I became. Wouldn't it be great if I could just eliminate all of them for good? I've asked many questions. What's your name? Do you want to go inside? The old man asked. No. I took a deep breath, straightening my back and lifted my head, displaying strength for everyone to witness. Promise me that you won't let my brother work here any more, old man. Who are you calling an old man? Oh, wait, sorry, that was her precious. Who are you calling an old man? Kim scowled, looking back and forth between me and his father. Dad, do you know this kid? Kim pointed at me. This kid, this kid, you bastard! I don't know him yet. He hasn't told me his name, the old man said, smiling. Please. Well, should I tell you then? Kim smiled wickedly as he slowly stepped toward me. My body automatically moved backward. His name is Porsche. Back off, damn it! I barked. With every sentence Kim said, he stepped closer to me, and I stepped back. You can't flirt with me with your pretty little face. By the way, he's played by Jeff Satter in the live action, so I know him. That's why I'm like, he's so pretty, cause it's Jeff Satter. Studying in an international school, Kim continued. I'll tell my brother. Damn you, Kim. You asked for it. He's 17. Bet you just say my social security while you're at it. The more I thought about it, the more resentful I became. Wouldn't it be great? Why do I keep going back? Damn. I turned and looked around, searching for a stick so I could just use it to smack him on the head. I'll hit you, I warned. 11th grade, class 2. Kim pressed on. I swallowed hard, fearing creeping in as my back pressed against the fence of the the house. Everyone here stared straight at Kim and me, especially the old man. He still stood there, He stood there smiling with his arms crossed, looking smug. Don't you think you should stop your son? Do you know you can go to prison for harming a minor? That's enough, Kim. This is Porsche's little brother, the old man said. Chan, don't tell Porsche about this. He'll go on a rampage again, and I don't want to deal with that headache. I'm tired. My ears went numb for a moment. It was like I couldn't hear anything around me except for Kim's stupid voice. He kept sending murderous glares at me. By the way, what? What the hell are you going to say, Kim? I broke out the nervous sweats, feeling strangely restless. Strangely made more sense. Stop that! I shouted at him. He has. Ow, 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 ow! I closed my eyes slightly and raised my leg, kicking. I kicked Kim forcefully between the legs. What the hell are you doing? Kim collapsed on the ground, clutching his crotch. Ang, ang, ang. 5 or 6 bodyguards rushed in and grabbed me, pinning me down with lightning speed. At the same time, several other bodyguards ran to help Kim up, looking shocked beyond belief. How dare you kick my boss? One of his henchmen cried, and he reeled his fists back, prepping to punch me in the face. I quickly turned my face to duck. Stop it! Don't hurt him. Let him go. The fist froze in midair, accompanied by the sound of rapid breathing. This nonce guy? He was seriously pissed off. Let's take Mr. Kim inside, sir. The rest of you take the kid to the street entrance. Do as you were ordered. Don't hurt him, Mr. Number 2 commanded. His lackeys all bowed their heads in acknowledgement. When I saw this, my fear was replaced by confidence once again. And as you know, if I have any amount of confidence, I will become a cocky little fuck. Huh? I thought you'd be tougher than that. If you think you're tough, come at me, bruh. Come at me right now. I glared at Kim and Nance, who were trying to calm themselves down. I was dragged out by my arms and my feet kicking in the air. I cursed and shouted, not caring who overheard me. Damn it! You think you're so tough, you bunch of wannabe gangsters. You haven't faced me yet. My name is Porsche. Remember, you fucking bastards. However, I was threatening them. I felt a strange emptiness in my chest. It was like my heart was telling me to stop, but my brain was telling me to be fearless and keep yelling. It was so confusing that some words of wisdom popped into my head. Hey, Porche, if you're gonna be a coward, then don't be such a smartass. I love you, Hia, but that was all I could do today. I thought, I'll leave it for now and settle things later. Okay, thank you, Porche, for giving us the comedy relief we needed. Oh my god, this chapter was quite long. I'm sorry. Oh god, Porche. But yeah, that was the end of chapter 16 of volume 2 of KinnPorsche. It's the first chapter, by the way, but it's chapter 16 in the general story, you know. But yeah, in the chapter 16, it was a wild run. Again, I'm gonna have to put my trigger warnings at the beginning with a big sign. Pero Porche kind of fixed it for me. Pero yeah, that's the end of this chapter. Hopefully, you guys been liking my reading. You've been enjoying it, having a good gale time. And if you guys have been, if you haven't, you could like, comment, subscribe, all of the rest. And yes, I have, like I said, I don't know, did I say that? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I said I have a playlist where I have the entirety of volume 1, and we'll be putting the rest of volume 2. So yeah, the entire KinnPorsche is in a playlist. I'm also reading other books. So if you're interested in them, you can go check. I'm reading Iron Widow, Caseball Compendium, Heaven Official Blessing, and so on and so forth. So if you're interested in any of them, you can check their respectable, individual playlists. And well, hope you have a good day, night, wherever you are, however you are, and bye.